Let's begin. So who am I and why am I here? Currently I'm a junior developer with Flexera, which is also a good sponsor. Yay! For the yeah, subtle plug of Flexera. I'm part of the core API team, so part of this is like big API I wrote. So it sort of helped me. I wrote the API PHP, so now I write APIs in Go. I'm also Latchism on Twitter, so feel free to follow. As I said there, it's mainly concerned my experience with culture nights, applications, and maybe how local events could use an app to benefit user experience. So why even develop a culture night in the first place? How did I get this idea for my dissertation? Well, 2017, I went to my first culture night. My own experience of it, it's pretty enjoyable, but there was some problems I noticed that said, well, hey, maybe I could solve them. So that's why I chose this project. So basically, my problem is Culture Night website is bad, and it should feel bad. The developers should actually feel bad. This is because there is no information on the website. There is zero information. So how the frig are you gonna... See, I'm not cursing, I'm good. How the frig are you supposed to know what events are on the go? I remember I went with a few friends, and we kept turning up late for events, or events were over by the time we got there. It'd be on the other side of Belfast, and I'm like, okay, what the frig is going on? There's no application at all. This Culture Night people have seemingly never heard of technology and how it could benefit their thing. All I have is paper leaflets. It's 2018, people. It's 2018. And over it was entirely an update. It is how the frig are you supposed to people get joy of the event if people don't know what's going on? And like this part here, it's basically like the Culture Night people. And I'm like, yes, I'm mad. I am mad. So this is their Culture Night website. I do realise this was taken after the events happened, but it basically just looks the same when the event's on. That's all the information you get. So, do you guys feel informed by this website? I sure as hell didn't. And this is an example of their slides. So, are you supposed to read this on the go? And it's also an environmental problem as well, because people tend to leave them at their arses and like just scattering about, leaving. That's a litter problem. So yeah, this part is how I felt. This is how I felt. So I thought, well, time to solve this. So I thought, well, hey, this is me going down to Dublin and looking at their app, because they have an app, they have the right idea. So it features you create an event, like a list of events you wanted to see, here's the events, oh look, it's on at this time. So yeah, why not copy someone else? That's what I thought. So that's basically their app. As you can see here, you can see the, the event details, where it is in relation, and then see all lists. It's like a lot better formatted than what Belfast ever has. So with all these above aspects of creation, why not build an app of my own? There's so many different technologies I could have used. I could have used Python, I could have used Golang, I could have used PHP, I could have used, and then for the mobile app, this is just the API, but for the mobile app, I could have just gone native Android or Swift. But then decided, my lecturer actually suggested, hey, why not use Ionic? It's a JavaScript, well, TypeScript, and it's cross-platform, and you can, it'd be more useful for people. So I thought, well, why not use TypeScript? Why not use Ionic? So at first I was considering Django or Flask, because that's why most of my experiences. I'm a Python developer, for and foremost. Flask, I decided I looked at Flask and Django. Flask, it's slightly it's easy to get, it's quick and dirty. You can set up like there, but it doesn't really scale well with larger applications, which with Culture Night is going to not really scale that well. Django, I have good experiences with Django. No. Middleware related things, I've had a lot of digging in middleware, and at this point in time, I didn't really have much experience with Python in a large project. I hadn't started Project Lentil, I hadn't joined the Project Lentil yet. So I thought, well, keep it safe. I got introduced to Laravel through Phil Weir. And yeah, that was an experience. So I decided to use Ionic and Laravel. Now, like I said, Ionic is a TypeScript framework. It can use create cross-platform applications. Laravel is the main PHP framework used for building websites, which is useful for me because there's a website portion for the project. It's also good for really good for writing APIs. So this is why I chose them, and also very easy to get started, especially with Laravel. It's just like the documentations are amazing for Laravel. Honestly, like most framework developers should take a note from Laravel because their docs are amazing. So, sorry. As previously mentioned, I thought I'd use Laravel for building the website and the API. I think that it's important to note that I am not a front-end developer. I can't do CSS. I can't do all that funky stuff. My style for building websites is like basically. Do you remember GeoCities? Put your hand up if you remember GeoCities. Yeah, that's basically. I was bringing GeoCities back. I thought, well, let's bring GeoCities back with my cool CSS skills, or lack thereof. So basically, my website looks like a flaming pile of GeoCities. And Laravel, even though it has great documentation, like I mentioned earlier, it can be a very, very tricky, to link things up properly. I remember when I started my project, some things didn't even work because the page had decided to do its own thing, I guess. But also, I mean, like, the API's functionality is amazing. It's very, very easy to get set up, and then, I found it very, very enjoyable. Like, I was like I think I had the best experience with Laravel compared to Ionic. Ionic is, let's just say that, it could be a bit tricky to use. But also I had some bad experience with Laravel as well. Before just the day I was supposed to submit my dissertation, the API decided, actually no, it was the database. I use AWS. Don't use AWS. It decided to not work, even though it had been tested before, the night before. I was like, oh, it's great, we'll submit this. And the day I was doing the video, I decided to give out that the API couldn't work because the database didn't work, and just, yeah, hopefully I passed. So I'm going to show you some API functionality. I'll show you some code first here. So here is what is known in Laravel as a migration. So this is your basic migration here. Migration in Laravel is how the database is created. So you can see here I'm creating a database for reviews. So you can see here that there's all your tuples and your foreign keys and your integers and all that fun stuff. And then it exists and drop the table completely. And then this is part of my API. Can you guys read that okay? Yeah? Cool. So basically this part of the API was how new users are created, which would be called by Ionic section. So you can see here that we're getting the name, email, interests, and then we're running rejects on them to make sure, validators, make sure that everything's okay, that it's not going to faint and goat, as we'd say in Flexera. It's not going to faint over and cry, I guess. I do. And here is logging in, You can see here that it's searching the database for them, and if it's not there, then you're not going to get logged in. So here I'll show you some Postman, just to show you the API. So, where is it? Okay, cool. There we are. So this is Postman. Postman is used, I don't know if you guys have used Postman before, or if you haven't, but Postman is used to test APIs, see if they're working. So here, there's some three main, this is a RESTful API, I forgot to mention, I'm really sorry. There's four main operations you can do with a RESTful API, which is get, you can get everything from a database, post to a database, delete, I don't know what it does, and put, which means you edit. So here, we're going to send a post request to the API. So let's say test event for NIDevConf. Oh, sorry, my typing is not the best, I'm sorry. Forget. So, hello, NIDevConf. You're awesome. Because you guys are awesome. Then let's send it. You see it's created successfully. And now we're going to get all the requests, so we're going to send it. Ta-da! So, yeah, that's the API working. So now I'm going to show you Ionic. This is how I feel like when I'm doing Ionic. And I feel like a bit of a scientist. So, as I said before, it's a cross-platform framework for developing mobile applications. So, it's run on a sort of takeoff from JavaScript called TypeScript, which is more strictly typed than JavaScript. I haven't really had much experience with like vanilla JavaScript. I've only really had TypeScript, but I've heard it's quite good compared to JavaScript. I don't know. I don't really touch front-end stuff. I don't want to after this. So TypeScript, I found it had a really steep learning curve. Like, for example, I remember working with promises, which is sort of like an IOU thing. So if you say you have a method and you want to return something, a promise is like, well, it's going to return something eventually, but maybe not now. I found that quite hard to deal with, especially if it didn't really work. And then I can't do front end. As I said, I don't do front end. The project required me to be a full stack developer. No, I realised very quickly that I prefer back end. As I said, there's new exciting errors all the time, every time. The promise would misfire, or I declared something and it wasn't used. All that fun stuff, and basically it wouldn't interact with the API properly at the end of it. So there's a thing in Ionic called providers, which abides to the separation. So basically you're like separating, decoupling your provider stuff from the rest of the stuff. So I'm separating the API stuff, and then it's been called from any class. So basically, the provider, it worked one time, the next day, internal server. I'm like, I wouldn't really. I think after this, I wouldn't develop an Ionic. I mean, I like it. It's a good framework. But I wouldn't develop for it ever again. I prefer native Android because I have a lot more experience with it, like in Java and stuff. I'm going to show you a live demo of what a potential Culture Night app could look like. So here is, here it is. So here's the login screen. We'll create a new account. Well, or go login. So we'll call it NIDevConf. I bet you it's going to crash this. I bet you. Don't crash, please. Com. Password is password. Please don't hack me. There we go. Oh, it's crashed. Well, it did this and then it logs you on. So I can see here, there's that, and then, or we can show you some events and stuff as well. So I think mine was test.test.com. What was password? Yeah, there you go. And then this will be the welcome screen that most users should see. So I wanted to localise it for just Belfast audience. So it'd be like, hey, about you. I know it's really cringy, but my lecturer liked it. So like you could get your username, you can add your interests, you can take a picture if you really wanted to. So you can add your interest. Oh dear, it crashed. Yeah, sorry. This is a very unstable build I had to go back to. So yeah, it's not. I'm really sorry. So we can go to the menu and then we can show some events. Like the events will be displayed here. There's none in the system because the system is currently down. But that's where the events will be. Will be displayed, and then you probably add an event here if you're an admin. So we'll call it test. We'll call it free for some reason. T new event. And then, ta-da, new event. It's at QB, and you can probably click on it and then get the time and the description and stuff like this. So yeah, that's basically a live demo of what the app could look like in a really rough state. So, after developing this app, what could local event organisers could gain from having an app, or if Culture Night could have? Like I said before, the information for Culture Night was terrible. There's nothing on the website. It's just an app, and also an application can be for all events in Northern Ireland. Maybe we could have the Continental Market. We could have it for St Patrick's Day or something like that. Or I mean, this event has its own app, so why can't other events? It can help users both from local and further afield. I found I was going to Culture Night first time. I got lost a lot. I couldn't find my way around. As always, if you ask people who are at FOSDEM with me, I have brilliant reaction. And then, so like, as you've seen before, like this was the official booklet. If you're not from Belfast, how are you supposed to know where Rosemary Street is? How are you supposed to know where Lombard Street is? You don't. Like, so if you had a map functionality within the application, this could help people get less lost, they could get there on time, they could plan their event out more in advance. And near enough everybody has their phone on them. So an app would help reduce pollution through litter. Like people deciding that the paper leaflets at their backsides. Like this will help reduce pollution as well. And then for Luddites in their midst, if people get that reference, sorry, I used to do history. It's purely optional. You don't have to have an app on your phone. You can navigate the event well enough without it. And so, thank you very much for your time. And if you have any questions, then if you want to ask them now, you can ask them at the Flexera stand, or you can ask them at the Rides to the Bot. We also have a Lego raffle, and we also sponsor a parrot. His name's Bluster Murphy, and this is Big Bluster. I feel like he represents the Flexera team very well, because he enjoys stealing other birds' food and yelling at older males at their pools. I think that really reflects our team very well. So thank you very much.
Any questions? Did you enjoy building?
Yeah, I did. Even though it was an experience. I mean, I did enjoy building it, but there's some problems that are just like, why why it's happening to me. It's just,
So coming back to those problems, do you think you would approach them in a different way?
yeah, I would. I would probably get people to go over it for me. You know, ask questions, because I used to be really reluctant to ask questions. I think I would ask more questions and maybe probably use a different framework as well. Yeah.
Are you doing the app for next year's culture then?
If they pay me enough, yeah. Yeah.
Do you think like there's value in having sort of a general framework for events? Not just
Yeah, I think it would be. I think it'll help develop. It'll help, you know, boost events in Northern Ireland and well, further afield as well. I think that, you know, like I said, it'll help people stop getting lost. It'll help people plan their event out in advance, and then I do think a general framework could be useful. An online framework could be really useful for events here, and also, yeah. Yeah, what?
What's your opinion on the night out happening to Pizza?
It's class. It's a really good app. I'm using it a lot, so it's a good app.
If I want to start learning, I know you know Laravel. Where
Yeah.
do I start?
For Laravel, at least there's a thing called the Laracast, which is really good. It's like it's for an older, slightly older version of Laravel, but it still works for the current framework. It's a guy goes through and he talks through all the different functions. So it'll be like here's how you create a migration. Here's how you create an object. For Ionic, there is good documentation for that at least, but mostly written tutorials on YouTube would be the main sources for Ionic. So.